O Israel.
That's right.
Prepare to meet your God, O Israel. And you'll notice that when it comes down to meeting your God or our God, it's only Israel who's going to meet him.
That's right.
No other nation is going to meet the Most High in the way that Israel will meet him. All the other nations are going to be in some form of confusion. Because there are many who's going to think that when he appears, he's coming for them. But believe it or not, even those who are over in Palestine, they don't believe he's coming back for them. They don't. Because to this very day, they do not believe in Yahushua, whom the world calls Jesus. They don't believe in him. They don't believe that when he who came 2,000 years ago, whom we know to be Yahushua, they don't believe that he was Yahushua. They don't believe it. And this is why you'll find that they think when he comes, this will be the first time that he's come. And they're expecting him to be a God-man like them. Let's go to the book of Amos, chapter 4, and we're going to read just one clause there. Amos chapter 4, and we're going to read verse 12. Amos chapter 4 and 12.
It's the book of Amos, chapter 4, and verse 12. Therefore, thus will I do unto thee, O Israel, and because I will do this unto thee, prepare to meet thy God.
Do what?
Prepare to meet thy God, O Israel.
So the Bible is telling us, the scriptures is telling us unwaveringly that we must prepare. So we are living in the age where preparation is important for us as a people. And there's a number of things that we have to be prepared for. So not only must we be prepared, because the time's going to come that you're going to have to leave your home. You're going to have to scatter. Yeah. The enemy is going to come. For many who think, well, I'm just going to board it up and I'll get a gun. And so, they'll have guns too. And if you have adopted the principle that a lot of people hold, especially those in the UK, my house is my castle, then you're done. Because it will also be your coffin. We must prepare ourselves spiritually and mentally. And it means get yourself together. Do everything you can to be in this truth and to follow his laws, statutes, and commandments. It's important. Let's stay in Amos for a quick moment. Let's go to chapter 5 and jump down or up, depending on where you're reading from. Verse 13. Let's read.
The book of Amos, chapter 5 and verse 13. Therefore, the prudent shall keep silence.
Shall what?
The prudent shall keep silence in that time.
Read.
For it is an evil time.
We are living in an evil time. It's evil. Everything that's coming together, everything that's coming down the pipeline, it's evil. Politics have become more evil than what it was before.
Okay.
The things you see on television is becoming more evil than what it was before.
Yes.
And again, what was this program that they had? They had this one. It showed like a circus, and there was Angela Bassett was in it. It was like a series that was running. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it was really a kind of a horror series. And it ran for quite some time. I don't know if it's still on because I just don't watch that thing. But even what you're seeing in there, it's evil. And our people are jumping into it. So, well, it's a job, it's an acting gig. I think you've got to be at a stage where some things you want to kind of leave well enough alone. And so when we read on, watch what the scripture says. Verse 14, read.
Verse 14. Seek good and not evil.
Do what?
Seek good and not evil.
You must seek good and not evil. Read.
That ye may live.
That you might live. If you're not seeking those things, you're going to find yourself in trouble. Read on.
Come. And establish judgment in
And
the
do
gate.
what?
And establish judgment in the gate.
Go back, read it again from the top.
Come. Seek good and not evil, that ye may live.
Go on.
And so the Most High, the God of hosts.
The God of who?
The God of hosts.
The God of many, read.
Shall be with you as ye have spoken.
Read.
Hate the evil.
Do what?
Hate the evil.
Read.
And love the good.
Read.
And establish judgment in the gate.
Now we establish the judgments in the gate.
Come.
Go on.
It may be that the Most High God of hosts will be gracious unto the remnant of Joseph.
Come on. So we're seeing the scriptures is letting us know that, first of all, Israel, we must prepare ourselves.
Come.
But it is also warning us, Israel, you must indeed be prudent. Learn when to keep silent. And it is also warning us that we are in evil times. And we must seek the good. Why? Because there's a whole lot of evil out there pretending to be good. And then it tells us furthermore that we must hate the evil and love the good and establish judgment within the gates. Lift up your head, O ye gates, and be lifted up, ye everlasting doors. We must establish that within Israel, the gates. And so if we go from here now, let's go, if you please, to 1 John. Chapter 4. 1 John chapter 4. 1 John chapter 4, let's begin reading, if you please, at verse 17.
Come. It's the book of St. John, chapter 4 and verse 17.
1 John.
Salaki, 1 John, chapter 4 and verse 17.
Read.
Herein is our love, made perfect, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment.
See that? Herein is our love made complete, made mature, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment, because judgment is coming. Because what?
As he is, so are we in this world.
Go back, read it again from the top.
This is St. John, chapter 4 and verse 17. Herein is our love made perfect.
Read.
That we may have boldness in the day of judgment. Because as he is, so are we in this world.
In this world. Hold that. We're not going to leave John right now, but let's go to 1 Timothy, chapter 1. And let's read, if you please, from verse 17.
Come. It's the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 1 and verse 17.
Slaki, make that 2 Timothy.
Come.
Go ahead.
2 Timothy, chapter 1 and verse 17.
Read.
But when he was in Rome, he sought me out very diligently.
How?
Very diligently.
Go on.
And found me.
And did what?
And found me.
Go on.
The Lord grant unto him that he may find mercy of the Lord in that day.
In what?
That he may find mercy of the Lord in that day.
Go on.
And in how many things he ministered unto me at Ephesus, thou knowest very well.
So the scripture here is speaking about having mercy in that day, because that day is coming. So it tells us clearly here, and the Lord grant unto him that he may find mercy of the Lord in that day. Because when we go back now, let's go back to where we were.
Come.
Let's read it again.
1 John chapter 4 and verse 17. Herein is our love made perfect.
Read.
That we may have boldness in the day of judgment.
In the day of judgment. So it's that day of judgment that we're begging the Most High. We are beseeching him that he will have mercy upon us in that day. Because as we read earlier, the days are evil. We're in an evil time.
Come.
From here, let's read on. Let's read verse 18.
Verse 18. The Lord grant unto him that he may find mercy.
Sorry, back 1 John
Come.
chapter 4. Let's read verse 18.
1 John chapter 4 and verse 18. There is no fear in love.
See that? It said there is no fear in love. It's important that we understand that love is an important part for us to play. Come. It's important. There is no fear in love. Go on.
But perfect love.
But what?
But perfect love.
But perfect love. Stop there for a moment. Go back up to chapter verse 17 and read that for me, please.
Come. 1 John chapter 4 verse 17. Herein is our love made perfect.
Made perfect. See? So it's letting us know that to have a complete love, we have to be walking in the Spirit and keeping his commandments.
That's right.
So let's jump back down to 17. Let's read that again, please.
Verse 17. Herein is our love made perfect.
Made what?
Made perfect.
Go on.
That we may have boldness in the day of judgment.
Go on.
Because as he is, so are we in this world.
Read on.
There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear.
So you will have no fear if you are keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments.
That's right.
Go on.
Because fear hath torment.
Read.
He that feareth is not made perfect in love.
Right, because what you're really telling the Most High in your actions is that you don't trust him.
That's right.
And I know that the human psychology is that when something fearful happens, you panic. And he's trying to tell us here, don't panic.
That's right.
Because I'm with you. What did he say in another scripture? He said, I promise never to leave you, neither to forsake you.
That's right.
So we must take him at his word, Khan. And so in this, and let's take it a step further. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 7. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 7. And let's read, if you please, verse 30.
Wisdom of Solomon.
Hold it. Let's begin further up. Let's because we want to go further with that. Let's jump up to verse 22. Let's read 22, please.
Come. On page 62 in the Apocrypha, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 22.
Go on.
For wisdom, which is the worker of all things.
See, wisdom is the worker of all things. We must use wisdom in everything that we do. Wisdom is important. Scripture says wisdom is the principal thing. But in all you're getting, get understanding. And in fact, I left out a part because it said, therefore, get wisdom. You see, mustn't leave it out. But then when we read here now, let's read verse 22 again from the top. Let's come down.
Verse 22. For wisdom, which is the worker of all things,
Watch this.
taught me, for in her is an understanding spirit.
So wisdom teaches you. So in keeping the laws, it teaches you wisdom, and then it teaches you how to be a better person. How must I become a better person? Well, here it tells us. Let's read.
For in her is an understanding spirit.
Understanding spirit, go on.
Holy
Holy.
One only.
One only. Go on.
Manifold.
Go on.
Subtle.
Go on.
Lively. Clear. Undefiled. Plain. Not subject to hurt.
Not what?
Not subject to hurt.
We've got to get over ourselves sometimes because we allow ourselves to get hurt too easily.
Come.
Really? You think this is a schoolyard? I'm not your friend? Get over yourself. It says, don't allow yourself to be hurt easily. To be an Israelite, really, when you think about it, you've got to have thick skin.
Come.
Why? When you're dealing with each other, you've got to have thick skin.
Come.
Huh? And so it tells us here to be what? Read that again, that last clause.
Not subject to hurt.
Not subject to hurt. Read on.
Loving the thing that is good.
Read.
Quick, which cannot be letted. Ready to do good.
Ready to do good.
That's right.
Did we not just read? But back in Amos chapter 5, it says, get ready to do the good
Come.
and to hate the evil.
That's right.
So it's telling us how we should act. And so when we read on further, it says, read.
Verse 23. Kind to man.
Kind to who?
Kind to man.
Now it's speaking about us as a people. Read.
Steadfast. Sure. Free from care.
Go on.
Having all power. Overseeing all things.
Go on.
And going through all understanding.
Going through all understanding. Read.
Pure and most subtle spirits.
Read on.
For wisdom.
For what?
For wisdom.
There's that word wisdom again. For wisdom, read.
Is more moving than any motion.
Go on.
She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness.
Read.
For she is the breath.
She is the breath. That's a key word we don't want to miss out on. And remember, wisdom, the word wisdom, pertains to the law.
That's right.
I know you're like, but wisdom means you're going to be wise now. Yes, but how? How are you going to know when you step over the line if you don't have laws to follow?
That's right.
How are you going to know when you're good or when you're not so good or when you're right or not so right? You've got to have a set of laws. In knowing how far to step, you develop wisdom because now you know, I'm not going any further. I'm just not going to do that. Because wisdom dictates you're going to break the law. And if you break the law, you're going to be in trouble. Did we not just read it again in Amos chapter 4? So the scriptures is letting us know everything that we should know in order to be right, so that when he comes, he finds a prepared people that he can take into the kingdom. Come? Then when we read on further, read.
For she is the breath of the power of God.
Read, sir.
And a pure influence.
And a what?
And a pure influence.
Now, when it uses the word pure influence, that means it's or she, because the scripture promotes the word wisdom as a she, the female gender, meaning she stays the same.
Come.
She stays the same. She's not mood swinging, not up 1 minute, down the next, not fickle. So it's letting you know clearly here that and a pure influence flowing from the glory of whom?
Of the Almighty.
Of the Almighty. Go on.
Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her.
So no defiled thing can do what?
Can fall into her.
Can fall into her. Wow. Let's go from there to Sirach chapter 1 and 9. Sirach chapter 1. And we're going to read, if you please, verse 9. 9. In German, that means no. So let's see. She is. Yeah. Let's read that. In fact, yes. Let's read.
Come on page 71, Sirach chapter 1 and verse 9. He created her and saw her and numbered her and poured her out upon all his works.
Jump to 19.
Verse 19. Wisdom raineth down skill.
That's just so beautiful. He created her. He formed her.
Come.
You know, you just feel like a poet when you that's nothing to do with me. It's doing the writer.
Good.
Now let's read it again. Read 9 again, then jump down to 19.
Sirach chapter 1 verse 9. He created her and saw her and numbered her and poured her out upon all his works.
Jump to 19. Read.
Verse 19. Wisdom raineth down skill
Read.
and knowledge.
Notice, poured her down, it says in 9. And now it says in 19, it says, wisdom raineth down.
Skills.
What?
Skills.
Skills. Go on.
And knowledge.
And what?
And knowledge.
Go on.
Of understanding.
Of understanding. Woo. That's so sweet.
God.
Let's read on, Dr. Reed.
And exalteth them to honor that hold her fast.
Wow. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Let's go back to the Wisdom of Solomon. Let's go back there.
God.
Let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. Let's read, if you please, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. Let's read them from where we left off. Let's read
Wisdom of
26.
Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 26. For she is the brightness of the everlasting light.
Read.
The unspotted mirror of the power of God.
Read.
And the image of his goodness.
Read, sir.
And being but one, she can do all things. And remaining in herself.
And does what?
And remaining in herself.
Go on.
She maketh all things new. And in all ages entering into holy souls.
Read.
She maketh them friends of God.
Notice you can only go into holy souls. Read.
And prophets.
Go on.
For God loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom.
With wisdom.
For she is more beautiful than the sun, and above all the order of stars. Being compared with the light, she is found before it.
Read.
For after this cometh night, but vice shall not prevail against wisdom.
Because once you have the laws, no evil thing can cause you to be swayed from it. No evil thing can make you sway from it.
That's right. Man.
Great God from Zion. All right, let's go, if you please. Let's go back to where we were. Let's go back to 1 John. 1 John chapter 4. Let's read verse 18 again.
Yes, sir. 1 John chapter 4 and verse 18. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear.
Go on.
Because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love.
So remember then that fear is doubting God. And if you doubt him, then the truth is you shouldn't really expect anything from him. But if you believe him and trust him and allow the wisdom of the commandments, the things that you're following, to be true, to be faithful. We went the whole litany of things that it told you that it will do for you if you just remain upright. Then it brings the other scripture into mind. It says, he will not withhold, no good thing will he withhold from them who walk uprightly before him.
That's right.
It's just beautiful. And so when we read on that, let's read verse 19.
1 John chapter 4 verse 19. We love him.
In fact, before you do that, listen, 19, we love, you go on, finish that verse.
We love him because he first loved us.
Because he first loved us. And we must understand that, because remember that we didn't see him first. So if we didn't see him first, then how could we have loved him? But he saw us first.
That's right.
It's like when a child is born, the father sees the child first. The mother sees the child first. And therefore, it tells us we love him because he first loved us. Come on. Let's go back to the Wisdom of Solomon, and let's read chapter 17, and we're going to read verse 12. 17 and verse 12.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, page 68, chapter 17 and verse 12. For fear is nothing else.
Fear is what?
For fear is nothing else.
Let's see what it is. Go on.
But a betraying of the succors.
Now the succor is Yahushua. He's our succor. He's the one that we sup with. And so it tells us, let's read it again from the top, if you please.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17 and verse 12. For fear is nothing else but a betraying of the succors,
Go on.
which reason often, Salaki, which reason offereth.
Which one?
Which reason offereth.
Good, all right. So from here, let's go back, if you please, back to John. And I think we're going to go to, where were we? Let's go back and read 19.
Yes, sir.
1 John chapter 4, let's read 19 again.
1 John chapter 4 verse 19. We love him because he first loved us.
All right, and from here, I think what I want to do, I want to go to Ephesians chapter 4, and let's hit verse 11. That's it, Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 11. Yep. Ephesians chapter 4 and 11, let's read.
Come, it's the book of Ephesians, chapter 4 and verse 11.
Go on.
And he gave some apostles and some prophets.
He did what?
And he gave some apostles and some prophets.
And some prophets. What does that mean? Can somebody help me with that? What does it mean? Anyone? You just read it. It's not a trick question. What did it say he did? Read it one more time for me, please.
Come, Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 11.
Go on.
And he gave some apostles and some prophets.
Go on.
And some evangelists.
And some evangelists. All right. What does this basically say to us? Can anyone tell me?
Gave wisdom and understanding.
Yes, he did.
And
But what is this verse actually telling us? What is it really conveying? What's the thought behind this? Read it from the top again, sir.
Yes, sir. Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 11. And he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists.
Some evangelists. All right, let's take it. Oh, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
okay, is he talking about the gifts that he gave each and every one of us?
Yes, sir. I can't tell you no, but the answer is right in front of us.
In number 12, I think it's on chapter 12.
No, you don't want to go there right there. But just yet. I think you want to stay right where you are in 11. So read it again one more time. This is the last time, and we will go further.
Come, Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 11. And he gave some apostles.
Some apostles.
And some
And
prophets.
some what?
And some prophets.
Go on.
And some evangelists.
Go on.
And some pastors.
Go on.
And teachers.
Now, what is this basically saying? Go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
He gave, like you said, basically he gave some people apostles.
Yes.
Some of the saints, evangelists.
Yes.
Some preachers.
Yes.
To feed them the wisdom
Ye-
from those.
Yes. Now, all that is good. That's good. I mean, I can't say no because you are on. As the other brothers, they were on too. But what is it telling us? Because here it's showing a distinction between the different offices. What does the offices usually imply? Leadership. Come on. Leadership. So it says here, and he gave some apostles,
Yes, sir.
some prophets, some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers.
Come.
This is leadership. Come. Then in verse 12, let's read.
Verse 12. For the perfecting.
For the what?
For the perfecting.
For the perfecting, go on,
Of the saints.
of the saints. And the saints we know, no, I said the other nations. Here it is, it's telling us clearly. Go to Amos chapter 2 and 11 real quick. Let's just run on down there for a quick minute. Let's just go there real quick. Go ahead.
Amos chapter 2 and verse 11.
Go on.
And I raised up of your sons for prophets.
Oh, so it says, I raised up of your sons for prophets. Go on.
And of your young men for Nazarites.
Go on.
Is it not even thus, O ye children of Israel?
Also, it's only Israel that can be prophets
Come.
and Nazarites. So these other nations doing what we are supposed to be doing. You took everything else away, and now you're trying to imitate us with this too.
Come.
O you children of Israel, say who?
Saith the Most High.
Saith the Most High.
Come.
All right, let's go back to where we were now. All right, so verse 12. Let's read verse 12 again, if you please.
Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 12. For the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body.
Edifying of the body, read.
Of the Mashiach.
Go on.
Till we all come in the unity of the faith.
This is meant to be all of us coming together in this manner.
Come.
He wants us to come together in the unity of the faith.
Come.
Read.
And of the knowledge of the Son of God.
And the knowledge of the Son of God. Read.
Unto a perfect man.
A complete man. Read.
Unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of the Mashiach.
Come. So there's a standard that he wants us to come to. And that's why we have to work to come to this standard. Just in following us from day one, we work for that. Because there are things within ourselves we have to drop off.
Come.
Change ourselves, because we got some stuff that we're carrying that shouldn't be with us.
That's right.
Because it's like mixing oil and water.
Come.
Gone? All right. So it's very important. Let's go back to where we were. All right. So we're in 1 John. All right. Let's go back to 1 John and let's read verse 20.
1 John chapter 4 and verse 20.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother,
And does what?
and hateth his brother,
And you know, some people, I just love the Lord. He's been so good to me. I just love him. I love him. I love him. But I can't stand that sister over there. Oh, I just love the Lord. He's been so kind. He's blessed me every day. But I hate that brother. Oh, he get on my nerves. My last nerves. So here, he's letting us know. Read it again.
1 John chapter 4 and verse 20. If a man say, I love God,
Read.
and hateth his brother,
And does what?
and hateth his brother,
Go on.
he is a liar.
He's a liar. And you can tell them that to their face.
That's right.
You're a liar. It's like, you know, when people come up to us and say, oh, I love you. I just love you, brother. You must love me. No, I don't. And then they have a hard time. Then all of a sudden, that love that they had, it disappears.
God.
Now you see that scowl come over their face, the furrowed brow. And they look at you like they're going to kill you.
God.
Some of them look like they had a gun on them. They
That's
would.
right.
But let's read, sir.
Yes, sir. For he that loveth not his brother,
Read.
whom he hath seen, how can he love God, whom he hath not seen?
Wow. That's dropping it hard on you. And so if we go then, let's pull a precept on that. Let's go to Second Esdras. Second Esdras. Second Esdras. Second Esdras. 35. No, Second Esdras chapter 1 and verse 35. Thank you.
The book of 2 Esdras, page 14, chapter 1 and verse 35. Your houses will I give to a people that shall come, which not having heard of me, yet shall believe me, to whom I have showed no signs, yet they shall do that I have commanded them.
Go on.
They have seen no prophets, yet they shall call their sins to remembrance.
Read.
And acknowledge them.
Read.
I take to witness the grace of the people.
I tell you what, let's pull a precept Read verse 35 one more time, if you don't mind.
Come. 2 Esdras chapter 1 and verse 35. Your houses will I give to a people that shall come, which not having heard of me, yet shall believe me.
Go on.
To whom I have showed no signs, yet they shall do that I have commanded them.
All right. Go to Mark chapter 8, and let's read verse 11.
The book of Mark, chapter 8 and verse 11. And the Pharisees came forth and began to question with him, seeking of him a sign from heaven.
Oh, see that? So here's the point that we got to get.
Come.
And the Pharisees came forth and began to question with him, seeking of him a sign. Now, because one of the things that our people used to do, in order to prove the person that's bringing the information to them, they wanted to see some kind of sign that would prove to them who you are, where you're from. Are you truly who you say you are? This is why the Most High is looking for people who don't need a sign, yet they believe.
Come.
Let's finish that verse. If you don't.
Yes, sir. This is Mark chapter 8, verse 11. And the Pharisees came forth and began to question with him, seeking of him a sign from heaven, tempting him. And he sighed deeply in his spirit and saith,
Because those are not the people that he wants.
That's right.
He wants people who believe him and you don't need a sign. But watch what he says. Go on.
Why doth this generation seek after a sign?
Read.
Verily I say unto you, there shall no sign be given unto this generation.
Unto this generation. So now when we go back and we read 2 Esdras chapter 1 and verse 35, watch what it says now. Paul, see the connection. Read.
Page 14, 2 Esdras chapter 1, verse 35. Your houses will I give to a people that shall come, which not having heard of me, yet shall believe me.
Go on.
To whom I have showed no signs.
See that? So you are the ones today that are in the truth, who was not given a sign, yet you believe.
Come.
You are the ones that he's interested in. Because he didn't have to compel you and to do several miracles and do some backflips in the church in order for you to believe him.
Come.
You heard it, it resonated with your spirit, and you got on board right away because you know that this is truth. And truth can only connect with truth.
That's right.
And watch what it goes on to say. Let's read.
Yet they shall do that I have commanded them.
Read.
They have seen no prophets.
They're what?
They have seen no prophets.
They haven't seen any prophets. Didn't bring any back from the dead for you to sit, for you to believe this. Did any of you see Moses or Elijah? No, you didn't. But yet you believed. Read, sir.
Yet they shall call their sins to remembrance.
Read.
And acknowledge them. I take to witness the grace of the people
The
to
what?
come. I take to witness the grace of the people to come.
Read.
Whose little ones rejoice in gladness.
The next generation. Go on.
And though they have not seen me with bodily eyes,
Read.
yet in spirit,
In their spirit. Read.
they believe the thing that I say.
Glory be to the name of the Most High God.
Come.
Let's pull a precept. Let's go to 1 John chapter 4 and let's read verse 20. Let's go there. 1 John chapter 4 and verse 20. Let's go back.
1 John chapter 4 and verse 20.
Read.
If a man say, I love God,
Watch this now. Read.
and hateth his brother,
Go on.
he is a liar.
Read.
For he that loveth not his brother whom he have seen.
Whom you have seen.
Come.
Whom you have seen. Underline the word seen. Go on.
How can he love God whom he have not seen?
Whom you have not seen. Now let's go back, if you please, to 2nd Esdras, chapter 1, and let's read verse 38.
2nd Esdras, chapter 1 and verse 38. And now, brother, behold what glory, and see the people that cometh from the east,
Go on.
unto whom I will give for leaders Abraham, Isaac.
Notice here, this is very important that we don't miss this, because often we will read it and overlook what it's trying to tell us. It's saying to us here, verse 38, one more time, if you please, sir.
Verse 38. And now, brother, behold what glory, and see the people that cometh from the east.
That comes from the east. East is our land, our homeland bearing. Now, watch what it goes on to say. Read.
Come. Verse 39. Unto whom I will give for leaders.
These are the ones that he's going to give you for leaders. Now, let's look at this maybe parenthetically. In the future, what's going to happen here? Because we're in that last days now. That he's bringing back these men, these prophets, and he's bringing them back in different ways. And they're going to be teaching the truth to you to wake you up out of your slumber.
Come.
And when you hear it, your spirit will connect to it. And that's why it says, when we read verse 39, read if you please.
2nd Esdras chapter 1 verse 39. Unto whom I will give for leaders Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Hoseas,
go on,
Amos, and Micahs,
go on,
Joel,
go on,
Abadias, and Jonas, Nahum, and Habakkuk, and Zephanias.
So even Esdras is in there, and Jonas, go on.
Aggeus, Zechariah, and Malachi, which is called also an angel of the Lord.
Now, why do you think it says it's called an angel of the Lord? Can anyone tell me? I've asked you this before in the past, and some of you were good, and some of you weren't. So go ahead.
Is it like when he died, you go back into the fire of the spirit?
Well, yes, we will. I can't say that's not right, but this is what it's saying. Remember what it's saying to us now. It says in the latter clause of verse 39, it says, which, it's speaking about the last individual. It says, which is called also an angel of the Lord. Right? Now, in order to get that, you have to go to the book of Revelations. All right? So when you're in Revelations, chapter 1 and 2, they break it down for you there. Can you tell me where to go? Since you're out there in left field, see if you got it. Anyone else? All right, let Mark take time. So, Revelations, let's use Revelation chapter 3, but you can use chapter 2. But chapter 3, and let's read verse 7.
Come. Revelation chapter 3 and verse 7. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia.
Jump to 14.
Verse 14. And unto the angel of the church of the Laodiceans.
Jump back to chapter 2 and verse 12.
Revelation chapter 2 and verse 12. And to the angel of the church of Pergamos.
Jump up to verse 8.
Verse 8. And to the angel of the church of Samaria.
So it's speaking about the pastors of these churches who are called angels.
Come.
Why is that so important? Because angels are messengers, and a pastor must be a messenger to bring a message to the people. And what is the message that he brings to the people? Wake up out of sleep. Prepare yourself. The Most High is sending his son back for you. Gird up the loins of your mind. Strip off your garments of sorrow and put on your garments of praise. That's what the angel does. Come on. And so when we read, let's go back to where we were in 2nd Esdras.
Yes, sir. Verse 40.
Verse 40. Let's jump from. Let's read it again. Let's read verse 40 again.
Come. 2nd Esdras chapter 1 and verse 40. Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Aggeus, Zechariah, and Malachi, which is called also an angel of the Lord.
Go on.
Chapter 2 and verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, I brought this people out of bondage.
Go on.
And I gave them my commandments.
Gave them what?
Gave them my commandments.
Now you see, he gave you the commandments.
Come.
The commandments give you wisdom.
Come.
Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. In all thy getting, get understanding.
Come.
See? And then it says, read.
By my servants.
By my what?
By my servants.
And we just read about the servants who are the leaders back in chapter 1 and verse 39 and 40. Come. Then when we read on, go on.
By my servants, the prophets.
The prophets. Read, sir.
Whom they would not hear, but despised my counsels.
But despised his counsel, because his words that he speaks through his men.
That's right.
Now, if there's any liberation or women's lib out there, well, what about us? What about the daughters? That's where your problem is, sweetheart. Because the scripture is using the men. Our men need to be in their rightful place. Because they was not in their rightful place, he had to use others. It's time to awake out of sleep. Let's go to Amos chapter 3 and 7. Let's make that our last scripture because time's flying. Amos chapter 3 and 7. Amos chapter 3 and verse 7. If you've got it, everybody got it? You wait on me then? Okay. All right. Go ahead, sir.
It's the book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 7. Surely the Most High God will do nothing.
The prophets.
Come.
That's your precept going all the way back to 2nd Esdras chapter 2 and verse 1. That's your precept for that. Gone?
Come.
All right. All right. Let me stop there. Is there any questions that anyone has online that they would like to ask, or anyone here in the present audience of our people? Prepare to meet your God, O Israel. So, it's very clear what it's telling us, that we must be in a state of preparation. Not getting ready, because getting ready will be too late. You have to be in a state of preparation, ready already, got it together, ready to go at a moment's notice. And that's why you hear people talk about, you've got your go bag. Because that means you're ready to go. You can't have a go bag if you're not ready. I've never heard them say there's a preparing bag, a getting ready bag. No. They say go bag. You pick that thing up and you go.
That's right.
So, any questions from anyone? Any questions? All right. I hope that this teaching this evening has been a blessing to you. I hope it has opened up your minds to understand that he has sent his prophets back already, and he scattered them all over the earth.
That's right.
They're in every state, every city, every country, and they're there to wake up the people, bring them to a state of readiness that when he puts in his appearance, they shall be ready to mount up with wings of an eagle to meet him in the air, in the chariots. And so on the behalf of myself and newly formed captain, I must bid you much blessings from the Most High God. Continue, please, to keep us in your prayers and to remember the nation of Israel wherever they are. Prayer does change things. So pray for our brethren wherever they are. Those who are here, those who are in Europe, in Africa, in the islands, pray for them. But pray especially for those who are right here in the Americas. Because this is where Judah and the 10 tribes are, and the Most High God is looking to prepare them for that great gathering. Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem HaMashiach Yahushai, Selah. All right, now, as we prepare to go